Good morning, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining. It's the civilized presence. You are in the right place at the right time. Come on in and let me know where you're joining us from. Just give us 2 minutes as Facebook gets this video visible to everyone. Welcome. Just come on in and say a quick hello and let me know where you're joining us from. Thank you so much for making up time to be here. I'm just looking for this video. Give us a moment. Yeah, I can hear the feedback.
Yeah, I hear it too.
Okay, let's see. Welcome Facebook, welcome Instagram. Thank you so much for making up time to be here. It's a civilized presence. I'm just trying to get this video on first page. Perfect. So I have it on the page now. So funny. Welcome, Lady Arunja. It's great to have you in the house. Thank you so much for making up time. Welcome, Facebook. I can see people coming, but get into the video and just say a quick hello. Let me know where you're joining us from. All right. Okay. Perfect. Well, welcome, guys, to the Civilized Presence. Thank you for making up time. We're just trying to make sure that everything is working good. I don't think we have too much of an echo anymore. Are we good to go?
Yeah, we still have that.
A little bit?
We still have it a little bit. Yeah, but
Okay. How is it now? What do you think right now?
it's still there.
No, I can't hear it anymore from
Oh,
my
you
end.
can't hear it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right. Let me.
I think
What did
so.
you lower your volume or what did you
Yes,
do?
I did. I did.
Okay, so I'll just lower my volume so that I
You're
can.
fine. You don't want to touch yours because you're the guest. Welcome, Sikarni. It's good to have you in the house. Thank you so much for making out time to be here. I'm just trying to fix things up for my Instagram family and just make sure that everyone is happy and well. It's great to have everyone here in the house. I'm so excited that you made out time to be here. Welcome. Let us know where you're joining us from. It's the Civilized Presence. Usually we're here every Mondays and Fridays. We started about 8:30 Eastern time, but we had to change our timing because of COVID-19. Because I know that at 8:30 a.m. you're probably sleeping. So we had to kind of shift it. And sometimes we're here at 1 p.m. We're really playing around with time. We have most of our audience in Asia and some parts of Africa. And so when we go so late, it's too late for them. And this show is for you. And so I'm so excited that you made out time to be here. So come on in and say a quick hello and let me know where you're joining us from. Come into the video, the main video, and just say hello. Give us 30 seconds so that we can play our promotional video here. So let's see if that's going to work. All right. So welcome, guys. It's the Civilized Presence. It's so good to have you in the house. I am so excited. I'm so sorry, guys, that you missed me. The last session I wasn't here. You know, COVID-19 has been quite interesting. We've had so many losses. Some people have lost friends. Some people have lost families. Some people have lost jobs. And you know, I had a really good friend of mine that we lost, and of course, I had to honor the family. So it's so good to have you guys here. Thank you so much. Thank you for making out time to be here. I'm so excited that you made out time to be here with us. Thank you. Now, some of you have never met me before. My name is Louisa Akaizo, and I am a master civility trainer, a woman development advocate, and of course, an author for several books, a leadership expert with the John Maxwell team. I work confidently with leaders and professionals that place great importance in themselves and their reputation. And of course, that's going to be you this morning because you made out time to be here. Someone was asking me the other day. I said, Lisa, what happens when people get to work with you? I said, well, that's pretty simple. When you work with me, what I do is I help you transform your single idea into a sustainable and impact-driven career and initiative. So I really feel so honored that some of you are here today with me to spend some time with me. And Dr. Femi, it's great to have you in the house. Welcome, Sandra. Welcome, Teresa. Thank you so much for making out time. Wengar, it's good to have you in the house. Woo! The chief storyteller is right here. So we're ready to get started. Dr. Eric, it's good to have you in the house. Ify, it's good to have you in the house. Sikani, it's good to have you in the house. Izir, it's good to have you in the house. Thank you so much for making out time to be here, guys. We're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, we're live on YouTube. So you want to be part of this. Now, do me a favor. Can you just like this video and share it on your page? Invite others to be part of what we're doing. This is going to be so exciting. And I want to assure you that if you think that this content is great for you, I'm sure that there's someone in your platform that can benefit from this program as well. Now, some of you have met Dr. Femi before. Maybe you have not, but let me tell you, you're going to have a swell 1 hour. I'm always so excited that he's here. You know, he is a great expert, a global relationship expert. I'm going to tell you about who he is and all the wonderful and amazing work that he's doing, not just in the DMV area, but all over the world. So for those who are just getting to Civilized Presence for the first time, Civilized Presence is an online TV session where lives are changed, where people discover their self, their purpose, their voice, and learn social skills to thrive in the real world. So if you want to become a change maker, you're definitely in the right place. Thank you. So what we do here every day, we kind of break the concept of civility into tiny bits where it's so easy for you to understand how important but easy it is for you to be civil. That civility is focused on positive people's treatment. You know, civility is the golden rule, treating others the way you want to be treated. Civility is the outcome of choosing behaviors that are congruent with your positive personal values. Civility is saying please and thank you, being polite, polished, courtesy, and manners, etiquette, whatever that you want to call it. But if you hang out with me every Mondays and Fridays, I can assure you that there's so much that you're going to learn on how to begin to be civil. Now, in the world, there's so much pain in the world right now. You will agree with me, there's so much pain everywhere in the world. It started off with the pandemic. We haven't even gone through that yet. And welcome, Fumi. It's great to have you here from Canada. Thank you so much, Louise from Canada. It's good to have you. Thank you so much, Ben. It's good to have you, Marcus. It's good to have you. Thank you for making out time to be here. And, we started off with COVID-19 at the beginning of the year. People lost their jobs, were on a lockdown, and then boom, the next thing was bloodshed. Black Lives Matter is so much that is happening in the world, guys. What a better time for us to be talking about civility, really, because everyone is kind of going through some form of anger. It's either you're upset about the right things or the wrong things. I don't know, whatever that it is, you're okay. And so it affects the way that we behave. It affects the way that we communicate. It affects the way that we relate with people. Dr. Juma, it's great to have you here from Kenya. Thank you so much for joining us. Lance Crutch, it's good to have you in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. And so if you look at the news, there's so many negative stories. Like, I'm so afraid to turn the TV on these days. It's either someone is dying, it's either the police is throwing somebody down, it's either there's someone on our necks, it's either someone is shooting you, it's either, hundreds and thousands of people are dying every single day. And so you're asking yourself, like, when is all of this going to be over? But it looks like the new normal is here. The new normal just means that we have to deal with what is happening right now. I know you would feel like you want to just pick up your bag and run away from home, run away from where you find yourself. But where are you going to run to? The airports are closed anywhere, so you can't really run. You have to stay back and make it happen. And apart from that, some of the things that are showing up in the news and is so sad is increase in abuse, increase in mental health cases, depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Oh my goodness. It's so much that is happening. Suicides. The world is in such a dark area right now. And it's so painful that we have to really learn how to be grateful for life. That you woke up this morning today, I mean, you have to be grateful. You have a reason to be thankful. And I'm so, excited and honored to even have you guys here, even with all that is happening. You still believe in what I'm doing. You decided to share your 1 hour with me. It makes so much, I mean, it means a lot to me. So thank you so much. Now, the topic of today, we're going to go straight into the topic. It's one that affects everyone. We're talking about relationship. Everyone has a relationship, whether it's with yourself, it's with your spouse, it's with your family, it's with your co-workers. You have a relationship with someone. But today we're going to be working on, intimate relationships, those difficult conversations. We're going to have them here today. So come on in and bring in your questions, whatever questions that you might have, and contributions. What are you going through right now? Is there a question that you have for someone? You could be asking for a name, but that's fine. Come in and let's make this interactive because we have the best of the best in the house. So let me kind of introduce you to the topic of today. Can a husband and a wife both have the same equal power and dominate the relationship? Woo! I was like, oh my goodness, Dr. Femi is here again. So, are you a husband? Are you a wife? Or you're not yet one? That's okay. Or you have someone around you, spouses, you think they're going to benefit from this conversation. Please do us a favor and share this video on your page. Invite them to be part of this conversation. Now, let me talk to you about my guest. He is Dr. Femi GFem Ogunjimi, and he is a global relationship expert, a TV host of Dr. Femi's show, a United Nations representative, and author of many books, including Revelations of Relationship, What You Don't Know About Finding True Love and Sustaining Relationship, and his latest book, How to Tell If Someone Truly Loves You. I think I need that one. Available on Amazon. Dr. Femi has been a go-to expert to media outlets like USA Today magazine, Fox News, Rewire, org. And I want to add that ABC yesterday, we haven't updated that. Yesterday, ABC added onto the list Stylecaster. He has spoken on big media platforms, including the Word Network, Radio One, Cyrus XM, Splash FM, and TEDx. His speech on TEDx has received over 3 million views and growing by 100,000 views every month. So you want to check him out. Apart from keynoting and speaking at conferences across the United States and overseas, Dr. Femi also conducts his own relationship programs. His signature conference, Revelations of Relationship Seminar, occurs every year in the United States and has been conducted internationally in Nigeria. Dr. Femi is the founder of National Relationship Equity Day, an organization that has created a National Awareness Day celebrated June 24th of every year. National Relationship Equity Day is dedicated to eradicating gender inequity in relationship and promoting the use of gifts, values, skills, certs, and interests as a way of defining roles in relationship other than gender. Well, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Dr. Femi in the house. Dr. Femi, can you say hello to the audience?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Louisa. Everyone joining us on many platforms. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your presence. You are in it for a thrill. So much to discuss on the topic of relationship equity. And please bring your questions and your comments, and we'd love to address them.
Thank you so much. It's always so good to have Dr. Femi here. And we have a lot of people joining from Instagram, Comedy Jetty, Jim Bowen, Lance. For me, it's great to have you. Thank you so much for making out time to be here. Dee, it's good to have you from Virginia. Thank you for making out time. Guys, come on in and let us know what part of the world that you are joining us from and be part of the conversation. Now, many homes today are struggling with power. Couples are fighting for control, authority, dominance, equality, and submission. And of course, this leads to divorce, unnecessary arguments, fights, financial discrepancy, and abuse in differing forms, whether it's through rape, domestic violence, and verbal abuse. And now, during the pandemic, couples are being forced to spend more time together. Now, being a couple doesn't mean that you have a relationship. That's something that we always get so wrong because so many homes really did not have a relationship until this time of the lockdown. They realized that, hey, we were not really talking. Everyone was just kind
Right.
of trying to survive. So the challenge here is most homes, of course, have existed for several years without any great foundation. Depending on where you're from, I'm of African descent, where sometimes you might even get married to get your father and mother happy. Not because you're happy, it's just like, hey, it's time to get married. You're already like 30 or 40, you need to leave home.
Mm-hmm.
And no one knows what are the challenges that you're going to be meeting there and how you will be able to deal with those things. So Dr. Femi is here to show us, to share with us how couples can achieve that relationship equity where they become a power couple, and raise their children with love and the right values. So you want to be here. This is where you want to spend your next hour in this conversation. Of course, bring in any questions that you might have relating to your own personal relationship, or you're asking for a cousin or a neighbor. Bring it on because the expert is here in the house. So my first question for you, Dr. Femi, would be, how are you doing today with the whole craziness, pandemic, um, police brutality, bloodshed? How are you doing today? Over to you, Dr. Femi.
Well, thanks for asking that question. And it's crazy the uproar we are experiencing and we are seeing in America and in other part of the world, that we are coming together in solidarity, in unison to fight against police brutality and fight against racism. I mean, you just turn on your TV, you will see so much news about this. And I had to kind of dissect what is happening and have a dialogue with some friends and family friends as well to reason with what is going on. And everyone has their take on this. Everyone has their opinion on this. Those that have been living for 50 years, 60 years, 80 years, to those that are just, the millennials, the Gen Y, the Gen X, and Gen Z. Everyone has an opinion. But something struck out to me when God took me to a Bible verse yesterday. And I kind of shared this on my social media yesterday early morning. And it's in the book of Ephesians chapter 4. The book of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2 through 3. It says, do not think that you are better than other people.
Mm,
Always be kind and patient with each other. Love one another so that you do not quickly become angry with each other. Do
mm,
your best to let God's Spirit keep you united. You mentioned something that everyone is just angry with the pandemic, with the chaos that is going on. It is as a result of some people or a particular race thinking that I am better than you
mm,
based on my skin color. And guess what happens? Because I think I'm better than you and we don't have that love, it can easily result on that particular race quickly getting angry with the other race.
mhm,
That is what is happening right now that we are experiencing because some people feel like I am better than you. My skin color is better than you. And it's the same aspect when it comes to relationship, the intimate relationship, the relationship equity. When the husband or the wife thinks I'm better than you because of my gender, or because of the money that I make, or because the position that I hold outside in the corporate world, of the car that I drive, of me taking care of this responsibility, it will result in argument. It will result in fight. You will be at each other's throats and you will not achieve that family unit, because you need to come together and be united. I want to call it being man united for those that watch soccer. We need to be united together in order to achieve this equality and to love one another.
Wow, this is powerful, and thank you so much for sharing that. Welcome, Instagram family. It's great to have you. Welcome, Stephanie. It's great to have you in the house. The title of this conversation today is, Can a husband and wife both have the same equal power and dominate the relationship? I know women are going to love the idea of the same equal power. People just love equal. I mean, people get so excited about equal. But you know what? Dr. Femi, when I was thinking about this topic, something that got me more excited was the fact
Mhm.
that we talked about relationship equity, because it's not all about being equal, but of course, equity. So, can you share with the audience the difference between relationship equity and relationship equality, which is what a lot of us might be reading? Is there a difference between these two concepts? Over to you, Dr. Femi.
Absolutely. There is a difference between these two concepts. They are similar in nature, but they are different. So let me just break it down. Relationship equality says we are both equal,
Mm,
both husband and wife. We have same equal right, same power, access to the same opportunities, resources, benefits, participation. Now, just because we are equal or we have same equal chances does not mean we have equal outcome. Does not mean that we get to do the same thing in the house. There has to be separation of duties. So
mm,
here is where relationship equity comes into place. It kind of takes relationship equality a step further. Relationship equity, it is allowing fairness. It is the practice of treating each other the way you would like to be treated. It is acknowledging your differences and determining what you do in the house, the role you play in the house, based on your skill set, your experiences, including your constraints as well. What are your aspirations? What are your core gifts? It is not about gender. So we don't determine what we get to do in the house based on gender. And that is the problem that we've been facing in so many years, that this is a man's role, that is a woman's role. But relationship equity says no, you determine what that role is based on the gift, based on the skill set, based on the experiences, and based on the constraints of that individual.
oh, this is really powerful. I really love that. Everyone has got a voice. Really,
Yeah.
it's not about one person being better than somebody else, but it's all about, of course, you knowing what your role is and standing by it and showing up the right way, and of course, complementing what the other person is doing. So I think that's what's going to help both parties to be able to work together. Now, coming from African descent, this is interesting that many people, especially women, tend to equate the respect of a man based on how much he has. So, what's wrong with this mindset? Because I find it a lot, in the African arena, and other people do that too, but I don't want to call up countries when I'm not sure, but at least I've seen that happening in Africa. What is wrong with that kind of mindset? Can you speak about that, Dr. Femi?
Yeah, there is nothing wrong in respecting a man or respecting a woman, but when you base your respect on material things, what if that thing is missing? Does
Mm,
that mean that I no longer respect my husband anymore? I no longer respect my wife anymore. So, and that is the problem, because you are respecting him because it makes the money, it takes
yeah.
care of the family, it brings home the bacon, he's the breadwinner. So you respect him based on that value. But
Mm-hmm.
then what happens tomorrow when he loses his job? What
Mm,
happens tomorrow? Maybe he gets into an accident and
mhm.
then they have to amputate his hand, amputate his leg. He cannot drive. And now he relies on you to take care of the family. Will you still take care of him? Will you still respect him as him being the husband in the house? Bible makes it clear. It doesn't say respect a man based on money, based on material things. It said respect him because he is the protector, at the same time because of his accountability to God. It has nothing to do with the finances or the economic power. So we have to shift our mindset and not think that you respect individual based on what they can do for you, but respect them as a human being, respect them as their status in that relationship.
Well, this is fantastic, and we have a lot of people who are joining us. EM Weddings, it's great to have you. Dr. Dwayne, it's great to have you in the house. Sharon, it's great to have you. Mercy, my sister, it's good to have you in the house. Elmer, it's good to have you in the house. Dr. Cheekers, it's good to have you in the house. The conversation continues. If you're just joining us for the first time, can a woman and wife both have the same equal power and dominate the relationship? Please come on in and bring us your questions. What are you struggling with? What question do you have? The global expert is here in the house. If Dr. Femi is not here, I don't know if you can pay for his services. So I think we're going to bring the question here right now. And let's make this very interactive because it's not about me. It's about the audience. Like, how can we learn from each other? There's always something to learn. Let's go back to the deal for today, Dr. Femi. Now, when you don't practice relationship equity in your marriage, what could probably happen? Because people need to know, the pros and cons of relationship equity. Over to you, Dr. Femi.
Yeah, when you don't practice relationship equity, one party is probably unhappy or not satisfied.
Mm,
And it's because we have an expectation
yeah,
that is not conveyed to the other party, or we have a system that we want to run our family by. And
yeah,
when you do that, it can ruffle on the other person's feather and may not be happy or being congruent with your philosophy.
yeah,
So that is one. Two, you may not get to maximize your family unit. For an example, let's say an husband makes $100,000 and the wife makes $100,000. That is $200,000 that is coming into the family
right.
versus one person makes 100K and you are telling the other person, all right, I don't want you to work, I don't want you to bring any money into this family, I'm going to run the family, my money is going to take care of everything. But what that is doing is you are stifling the other person's growth, you are stifling their talents, their gift set, you're not allowing them to be who God wants them to be or who they want to be. So
Mm,
you are using that to dominate the relationship, to control the other person. So you are not benefiting as a whole, and you are not helping the other person to be who God wants them to be.
right.
So those are the disadvantages if you are not practicing relationship equity. You're not happy, or you are happy, the other person is not happy. You're not maximizing your family unit, and then you are not passing down the right values to your children.
Yeah,
Because sometimes we have uh, 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 um, the practice of where there is no equality on how we train our children,
mm,
because we have that double standard in the relationship. Oh, I'm not going to discipline my daughter because my daughter may think that if the father is disciplining her,
yeah,
then she may think that it's okay for a man to lay hands on her when she gets married. But then what happens to your son? Will you discipline your son, or will you just spare a rod on your son? If you have to discipline your son, how do you think your son is going to be looking at you? Will your son think that you love, his sister more than you, or different, or vice versa? So we need to know that the action that we are eliciting in our relationship with our children, with our children are watching it, and they're going to use that as their baseline to determine what role and how they want to relate to their partner and their children as well.
Well, we have a contribution from the audience, and welcome, Farrell. It's good to have you. Abiola, it's good to have you. Dr. Femi, we kind of lost you on Instagram. You might want to come back into the video.
Yeah, okay.
Instagram kind of kicked you out, but we have a comment from the audience. Dr. Duran says, culture plays a great influence. Yes, perfect. I'm trying to bring you on. Sounds good. It said culture plays a great influence on each person's views. This is why we have to refer to the Bible for the truth. Sometimes it's a fear factor or confident. Yes, I totally agree with you, Dr. Dwayne. Culture plays a huge problem. Like I mentioned that I'm of African descent, and sometimes our parents believe that they have the manual or the blueprints of what the marriage should look like, right? And so, they refuse to detach from the kids. So it's more like you're going into the marriage, but you are going there being a mini version of your mom and father. And
Mhm.
and maybe it didn't even work for them. So how is it going to work for you? So I totally agree with you that culture gets in the way, and especially women most of the time become the victim. In most cases, women get their voice gets lost. They're not able to be part of anything that's happening, and like for example, like decision making, which we're going to talk about today as well. So that takes me to my next question for you, Dr. Femi. So on the issue of decision making in the home, how can the man and woman agree on a decision when they both disagree with each other's idea? Whose idea or opinion do they eventually follow between both of them? How should they go about this? Over to you, Dr. Femi.
Yeah, before I answer that question, I just want to speak a little bit on culture. There is nothing wrong with culture. Culture is good. Oftentimes, culture is or tradition is developed by human beings, right? It's man-made. It is not about the principle of God. And if we've been following culture due to man-made, we develop that ideology, we develop that mindset, and then that mindset is passed down to your parents, and then your parents to you, and then it becomes a generational ideology that you practice, and you see that from your parents. But here is where the challenge is: when you practice culture that is developed by human being, same human being is the same as you, okay? They have the same hair, they have the same brain, right? They could have been practicing that ideology based on the system or based on the society at that time. That doesn't now mean that what they practice is applicable to you today,
Mm.
because things are changing. That's why you have this different generation, you have the baby boomers, you have generation X, Y, and Z. So everything is changing, so you have to be constantly challenging the ideology and the information that is being passed down to you. Is it applicable today? Is it applicable to my wife? Is it applicable to my husband? There was a situation I was teaching one time with my seminar, and I was talking about men, most especially, should cultivate the habit of holding hands with their wives,
Mm.
because it makes the wives feel appreciated. It makes the wives feel loved and cared for, especially if she's expecting you to do that.
Yeah.
And after my seminar, there was a man that came to me. He's in his 50s. And he said, I have this problem in my relationship that my wife asks me all the time that we should hold hands. And I don't want to hold hands. And I asked, what is the reason? He said, because my parents didn't hold hands and they've been married for donkey of years. And I asked him, I said, did you marry your mom? You didn't marry your mom. You married your wife. So your wife thinks differently from your mom. Did your wife marry your dad? He said, no. I said, because you should be different from your dad, or your wife expects you to think differently.
Mm.
So you've been passed down this idea from your parents, watching their relationship firsthand, and you think that is what you should be modeling. But you are not understanding that who you get married to is a different creature, is a different mindset. They think differently, they want different things. So you have to think differently and see how you can meet that person's needs. In Bible, God was actually speaking to the people, and he said, you guys have abandoned my commandment, and you've held on to the traditions passed down to you. God was speaking to the people. He said, you've held on to the tradition passed down to you, and you've abandoned my commandment. So that means you are saying that tradition trumps commandment, and God is saying, no, my commandment, my principle trumps the tradition. So we got to go back to what the Bible says and it lays when it comes to relationship, when it comes to how should we relate with one another. Now, to your question about how should men and women, husband and wife, deal with the situation of agreeing and making decisions? All right.
Mhm.
What does the Bible say? Now, most people will quote this, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22, which says that wives should submit to the husband. Okay, because husband is the head of the wife, just like Christ is the head of the church. I love that scripture. I understand it. Kudos to you, my man, quoting that scripture. But here is what it is. Have you read Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21, which is the verse before that, that says, husbands and wives submit to one another as a reverence to God, as a respect to God. So God is saying, or Bible is saying, that you should listen to one another. Your position as the head doesn't determine that you have the better advice in moving the family forward. Your wife can actually have a better ideas, better opinion that will help the family. The mindset is, what am I trying to achieve? Am I trying to be right, or are we trying to do the right thing? So if you can understand that, is it that you being right, or we trying to do the right thing? If we are trying to do the right thing and it's not about you satisfying your ego, then you will listen to the other person. You will listen to your wife. You will work in together as a team, because just in the practical aspect in an organization, when you have people working together and you have the project manager, and in this case, you can look at yourself as a project manager, you being the head of the family, you being the man. When a project manager wants to make a decision, it does not make a decision in isolation of other people. It makes a decision when he has consulted everyone. And at the end, it makes what is called an informed decision. That means that decision is based on the information that he has solicited from everybody in that teaming environment. So as a man, you make a decision based on what everyone is saying, based on what your wife is saying as well. So it's not all about you, because your wife may have a better advice, may have a better information that will help you guys achieve that relationship equity and maximize the family unit.
Oh, this is wonderful, guys. If you're just joining us for the first time, it's the Civilized Presence. We're just going to take a moment to go on our commercial. Wow, welcome to the Civilized Presence. Are you just joining us for the first time? My name is Louisa Akaizo, and you are definitely in the right place. The conversation today has been amazing. Can a husband and a wife both have the same equal power and dominate the relationship? Majority of our audience are saying yes. Some people still think we're on the fence. What do you think? I want to hear from you. Do you think that we thrive together? Say yes. Do you think that there's still a hitch, or you're going through something and you're struggling with that? Say no. Do you have a question, or do you think that this conversation, this is not something that can be achieved? Let us know. Let us hear from you. Of course, this session is for you. We want to learn from you. What are you going through with your own relationship? Might not be with your spouse, might be with your children, might be with your siblings. There's so much siblings rival all over the place. But guys, the relationship expert is right here in the house. And of course, he can give you the right answers to your questions. You don't want to bring your questions when the relationship expert is gone. You want to bring it down and ask him those questions and have a conversation and just figure out how you can make things better for yourself. Because I really understand that right now we are all thrown into the house. It is the most difficult time to have a family right now. Because it was a lot easier before. At 6 a.m., everyone is out, the kids are out, the husband is out, the wife is out. But now with the pandemic, 24 hours, most of us are just staring into our faces in the same room or in the same space. And I can imagine that sometimes you feel like sometimes the kids are making noise and you feel like you just want to throw them out of the window. I saw someone post a video on Instagram sometime of a mother, and I think the tag on that video was what parents would do on the first week after the lockdown. And it was a video of a lady who just drove her kids right out of the door, and she didn't even wait for them to get to school. So I know that, we're so pressed. I know that it's been so challenging working with each other. And this is why we've heard your pain. That's why we have the relationship expert here to answer all the questions and help you to be able to build that great relationship, because we don't know when the pandemic will be over. There is no set time, there's no expiry date for the pandemic. We're stuck here together. You have to figure out how to work with your spouse, how to work with your sibling, how to work with your children, how to work with your neighbors. So come on in and bring your questions. Welcome, Dr. Jared from Kenya. It's good to have you. Welcome, Anthony from Canada. It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for making out time to be here. It's a civilized presence. And we're going to another question for you, Dr. Femi, right now. So,
Mhm.
when we look at relationships, and equality in relationships, I'm going back to equality because I know that, equality is a term that has been, sometimes people can get it wrong with equality. So what do you mean with equality in relationships? Is that like a 50-50 or a 60-40 or a 70-30 split? How should we look at equality anyways? Over to you, Dr. Femi.
Yeah, absolutely. People look at equality as 50-50 split or 60-40. I was talking to a gentleman in another country who said to me that equality to him in the house in achieving equality is 60-40. I bring in 60% of the income, my wife brings 40% of the income. But we cannot look at equality based on numbers.
Mm,
We cannot look at that. We have to look at what is this person doing, and are they doing it up to their optimum capacity?
mm,
Because there is always going to be some kind of constraints. You are making 60% today, you may not make 60% tomorrow. It may come down to 40% or 20%. What happens at that time? Does that mean that you don't have now equal right to what gets to happen in that relationship? So when we
mhm.
are looking at equality from the standpoint of numbers, not understanding that numbers always fluctuate. Okay,
Yeah.
it's never gonna stay the same. So when it fluctuates, does that mean that you no longer have the same equal right? Because I've been basing your right on numbers. I've been basing your power on numbers. Can you still make the same decision like you used to make? So we cannot base equality on that. We have to look at the constraints. Why is this person bringing 40%? Why is this person bringing 60%? Is it because of their skill set, their experience in a particular field, in a particular area that allows them to make a lot of money? If this person is bringing 40%, what are the constraints of that individual? Maybe
Yeah.
they're not, maybe they are not, they don't have a strong education background to command that much money. There's so many areas that we need to look at. And when you assess those, it helps you to make a decision and not look at the person as they are not your equal or they are subservient than you, or they don't have the same equal saying or the same power in how to run the relationship. So we cannot be looking at equality based on numbers, but appreciating the work that the other person does, because we are all one body. We are all different parts of one body. And Bible says when you put the parts together, when they work hand in hand, that body becomes strong. But when the part is divided, everyone is not working together, then you cannot achieve common goal.
Mhm.
So we got to look at what is the vision and the goals that we're trying to achieve together. And when the part comes together and say, okay, you this part, this is your skill set, this is the experiences you have that can contribute towards the progress of this relationship. And I respect that. I respect what you do. And
Mhm.
likewise, based on your skill set and your experiences and the responsibilities that you are doing, I respect what you do as well. But what you do is not better than what I do. Okay. What you do is not put on a higher pedestal than what I do. You still have to love and respect each other. And when you do that, it's easier for you to maximize the family unit. It's easier for you to work towards unity. It is you and your partner against the world. It is you and your partner against that bills, paying that bills. It is you and your partner against the enemy. It is you and your partner against that intruder that is trying to triangulate your relationship. So when we start to look at the team effort, you don't look at your money that you bring, or you're looking at the split that it has to be 60-40 for us to have an equal right in this relationship, because the numbers is never going to be fixed.
Wow, this is great, and it gives us hope. It gives us hope for every woman, I mean, what you can do in your home in terms of decision making, and of course equality is always a big thing. When you look at, like, for example, here in North America, or let's look at Africa, for example. In Africa, it's like, oh, it's a man's fault, a man should pay the bills, a man should do this, a man should do that. And then you step into North America, it's totally different. Both of you are working, what's expected from this one and that one, and just being able to work together, understanding what is accepted as equity, or as equality. I think really would help in being able to thrive, peacefully in the home. And welcome, my sister Mardeke. It's good to have you in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. Kathleen, it's good to have you in the house. Thank you so much. It's a civilized presence. If you're just joining us for the first time, we're here every Mondays and Fridays. And the conversation today is an exciting one. Can a woman, or can a wife and husband, have the same equal power and dominate their relationship? So do you have a question with that? Are you struggling with your own relationship? It might not be a spouse relationship. It might be children. It might be your siblings. Or you're just going in tired. You're sitting at home during this lockdown and you feel like you want to get in someone's face. Now is the time for you to bring the question. So come on in and bring your question and talk to the expert. He is available and happy to take care of that. Now, let's go to the next question for you, Dr. Femi. Right now, we are in the home. I had this question and it's come to me several times. People keep asking me, Louisa, how can one, for example, a parent who is an expert or a professional, is working full time and also taking care of the home, how are you able to do this successfully without being angry and agitated and just want to scream your head out? Like, how can they do this? How can they manage this different hats and successfully? So I want you to be able to help us with that, Dr. Femi. How can parents right now, because every parent is challenged right now. Like, I mean, you have to deal with work, whether you like it or not. You have to deal with the home. You have to deal with your spouse, and if you're a mother, maybe you have to deal with cooking too. So how can, what are steps? What's something that you can share with us that has helped you and can help every one of us? Over to you, Dr. Femi.
This state right now of pandemic, people locked in, it's hard to deal with. It is so hard to deal with because now you and your partner, you are right face to face in each other's.
Mhm.
Your children are present. Unlike before, the children, they go to school in the morning, they come back in the evening. You don't see them until when they get picked up. Either in the late afternoon or early afternoon in the evening. Your husband and your wife as well. I mean, you guys, work. If you have to go to a place of work, maybe you did your 9 to 5, or you have a different shift, 3 to 7, 7 to 11, 11 to 7. That has always happened because you have that breathing space and you have that time separated from one another. And even if you are pissed at each other early in the morning before you went to work, you have enough time at work, to just kind of cool down. Even on your way driving to work, listening to, a nice radio station, a nice music can cool you down, or you engaging with your coworker can help you to see things differently. But now it's like everything is all kind of bottled together.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? And I had the same issue in the first 1 month of this pandemic, like, because my schedule was off. I mean, now it's like I get up in the morning, I have my, take the children to school, and then I begin to do my work.
Yeah.
But when the pandemic thing happened, everything changed. The work that I used to do early in the morning, I no longer had to do them early in the morning. I had to find a way to do them later. I had to kind of change my schedule around. Say, for an example, like my wife, she works in the morning through afternoon. So I had to come up with a routine of what can better work for us as
Yeah.
a family. And I had to engage with my wife that here is an idea that I thought that I think, it might work for the family. You get up way early in the morning than anybody else. You take the dog out and make sure everything is good. You get the children up, you feed them breakfast, and then you go to your work. So when you do that, I realized that by the time the children are awake and they already had breakfast, then I am up. Then now comes my shift with the children. And then I take care of the children from, maybe late in the morning to way early in the evening. And then I relieve my wife of her duty so that she can easily focus on work and she doesn't have to worry about the children. And then right after that, by evening time, 5 o'clock, my wife has already done work. And then we all come back together as a family. We dialogue, we eat dinner. After we are done with dinner, that is when I start to do my work. That is when I started to focus on my own business, on what I got to do. Okay. So we are able to balance that routine, that schedule to see how well can it work with us that, we are not having overlapping responsibilities and one person is not doing everything. Because when you get to do everything, you will get tired and you will get fed up and you will, lay your frustration on your partner or lay it on your children. Your partner is the one that offended you, but just because you offended at your partner, you lay it on your children. So, and your children are looking at you like, what did I do, mommy? What did I do, daddy? I didn't do anything. You get mad on just little things because you've not had that dialogue with your partner and you've not been able to have a separation of duties and responsibilities and to see how you are not having overlapping duties or responsibilities and for you guys to be able to work together so that all the work is not shifted on one person alone. So I think that is what people in this kind of situation that they need to do. Look at the routine, look at the time that you have in a day. What schedule can you shift? Maybe you can get to do what you are doing right now, do it at a later time than now. And then that will help.
That's powerful, and thank you so much for sharing that. We have a lot of people who are jumping on. My sister, Sunday, it's good to have you in the house. A comment from you, that's wonderful. Marriage is all about mutual respect, compromise, teamwork, and partnership. There is no need for a power struggle. There you go. I want to say amen to that.
Yeah.
Welcome, Coach ID. It's good to have you in the house. Welcome, Ryder Bullet. Welcome, Civility MS. It's good to have you. Welcome, Kewis Lee. It's great to have you in the house. The conversation continues. Can a husband and wife both have the same equal power and dominate the relationship? And this is going to take me to my second to the last question for you, Dr. Femi. I know that in relationships, especially women love to be appreciated. I mean, even men too. And of course, Father's Day is around the corner. So how are we going to do that right now? When everyone is locked up in the home, can you share a tips, that we can use right now as we are in the home? Because I guess everyone is so busy. Mothers are on their feet for almost like 12 hours or 16 hours from work to cooking to children, and they get so exhausted. And I can imagine that so many, partners right now probably don't even have the time to spend time with themselves. And I want to believe that we have only adults on the show and this is civilized presence. So how can we appreciate each other even as couples? How can we appreciate each other at this time and make each other feel wanted and appreciated and worthy? How can we do that at this time? Over to you, Dr. Femi.
One of the ways we can achieve that, making the other person feel loved and cared for and being noticed, is one, look at what they do around the house or outside the house, what they do for the family, what they do for you. Just tell them, I appreciate you. What compliments have you given to them based on what they do? And don't look at what they do because you feel like it's their role or it's their responsibility or they choose to do those things. If they chose to do those things, they can choose not to do them. Okay. And if we are working towards the same goal of taking care of the family, then I need to appreciate what my partner does for the family. So compliment them. I always have this rule that I call 3-in-1, meaning that 3 compliments before you get to complain about what they do. Because sometimes in a relationship we complain about what the person is doing, that you don't like it, you don't appreciate that. Before you lash out on your partner, before you make a complaint, ask yourself, have I given this person 3 compliments today?
Wow.
And if you had, then all right, then you can go on and complain about something or make adjustments or make amendment or say whatever you want to say to them. So let's look at complimenting one another based on what we do. And then in addition of it, how can I relieve my partner of their duty? Especially women. Women will love that. that, oh, one day this guy actually went into the kitchen and he actually cooked for me. He cooked for our children. Relieve your partner of their duty. And that brings me to this relationship equity dialogue that I created a National Relationship Equity Day.
Yeah.
If you can permit me to just kind of share this real quick. So I created a National Relationship Equity Day, which is going to be celebrated June 24th of this month, June. So which is next week, Wednesday. And I basically want to help so many couples achieve relationship equity in their marriages. And I would love you and everyone listening to help achieve this goal. And here is the way you can actually help me on this. One, I want you to post the badge of National Relationship Equity Day, which I'll be posting on my social media page on June 24th. So, and my social media handle is on Instagram, it is GFem Speaks, Facebook, GFem Speaks as well, Twitter at GFem Radio. So, I'll be posting that badge, National Relationship Equity Day. So, take that badge, save it, and then post it on your page as well with the hashtag National Relationship Equity Day. If you chose not to post that badge, if you are single or you are a couple, take a picture of you and your partner, post it on that day, and put that hashtag National Relationship Equity Day because everyone loves a cute couple's picture or a single picture. You know, we all love that. And lastly, is basically what I was saying earlier about relieving your partner of their duty. So I want you to switch roles for that day with your partner. Whatever role that has been assigned to a particular gender in your relationship, let the other gender do it that day. The idea is to practice not making an activity a gender role, but your interest, your gift, and your skill set leading the way. For instance, changing diapers. If that is done by a particular gender in your house, cooking, making decisions, laying the bed, teaching the kids, bathing the kids, taking them to bed, taking the trash out, washing dishes, fixing something in the house, sweeping the floor, washing the bathroom. I know some in some houses the man don't lay the beds. You know, he gets up in the morning and he just leaves the bed to the wife to lay. Okay, these are the things that we got to switch gender role. We don't want a genderized role in the relationship, but you want your skill set, you want your experience, you want your constraints to kind of lead the way. So if these are roles played by a particular gender, just exchange that role that day. Just pick a role to exchange with your partner, and that is will help that partner, your partner, feel loved or feel cared for. And by switching these activities, it is basically achieving that gender equity for everyone. And in case you want to participate in this National Relationship Equity Day with us, please, you can always reach out to me on my social media page and send me a message, or you can send a message to information or info rather at nationalrelationshipequityday.org. Info at nationalrelationshipequityday.org. So that's what I got to say on achieving that, relationship equity and making your partner feel loved and cared for.
That is wonderful. And we have more people who are joining us. Caroline, Alison, it's good to have you here. A comment here from Osunday. It said, it's always great. I like this point, complimenting. It's always good to give praise and compliment to one's spouse and children. It's a form of positive reinforcement. Just 1 second. There you go. Okay, Instagram family, we are going to make sure that we bring this back to you. Yeah, it's a form of positive reinforcement, and we know that people respond well to positive reinforcement, and they are likely to repeat those behaviors that earn them positive feedback. And of course, from my sister Mercy said, you are right. Some men just want to get up and go. But it will be very interesting if both spouses can do things mutually. I love that. Thank you so much, all of you, for making out time. And I want to talk more about the National Relationship Equity Day. I think it is such an important day. And thank you so much, Dr. Femi, for creating that day where spouses will be celebrated. People will take the chance to at least appreciate their spouse, their husband, their wife, or someone in their lives that cares for them. Whether you're single, that's fine. Post your photo, or you can get the banner I'm going to have the banner on my page. So on the 24th, come on my page. I will have the banner probably on 23rd so that you can be able to take it on and have it on your page right on it 24th. Dr. Femi, if you can have it available to us on 23rd because of time difference with people from different parts of the world,
Sure.
I think that would be fantastic so that they can repost it on their page on the 24th. So he's just explained to you what you should do and how you can be part of that. Taking a photo or just posting the banner and saying something positive to your spouse, to yourself. And of course, I want to talk a little bit about this. And this is the final question because the single mothers are doing an amazing work.
Talk to me about that. Yep.
And I do not want to leave them out of the conversation. I really respect them for what they do. I remember years ago when I had my first daughter and I had to travel. That was my first time traveling with a baby. I know at one point I felt like I wanted to throw the baby away because I didn't know how to handle the baby and numerous luggages. When you're traveling with a baby, you have so much that you have to carry on. And so I had my carry-on and I had extra luggages and I had the baby. And it was so difficult to struggle and go back and forth. And even being in the city alone for a period of time with the baby alone, every day I felt like I wanted to cry for this baby. And the baby needed me as a new mother. And at that point, I realized the sacrifices that the single mothers, you know, go through. It's so much work. So I want to take a moment and appreciate all the single mothers, and please show some love to them, even on the National Relationship Day, because they're doing an amazing work. They're doing the work of both the husband and the wife. So if you have anyone who is a single parent in your midst, whether it's mother, father, single father, please show some love to them as well. And Dr. Femi, I'm just going to allow you to enforce that and just say something about that.
Yes, absolutely. I want to commend all the single mothers watching us right now, and we're probably going to watch this broadcast later. You are doing a phenomenal job. You are playing the role of a mother and a husband, and it's hard. Even having both parties in the relationship, it's hard to just juggle life,
Yes.
personal, career, ambition, business, working with different organization, helping the children. It's hard. And then you are doing it all by yourself. I mean, kudos to you. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. So I applaud you. And on the day of June 24th, please, I encourage you, share that banner with your picture, with either the banner or your picture with the hashtag National Relationship Equity Day, because you are doing it. You are doing it. You are, and that is why I brought up this relationship equity. If we've always been brought up or been taught that a role or what you get to do in the family is because of your gender, then what happens when you become a single parent? Does that mean you're going to drop the ball?
Mm.
If a woman has always been looking at the husband as the breadwinner, as the person who does, who goes to work and bring home the money, and then when the husband dies or maybe the relationship no longer works, what happens to you? Are you going to say, oh, let me wait for another man to come and start doing all this? Or taking the trash out for an example, yes, you may say that it's a man's duty. If the man is present in the house, yes, you may say let him do it. Okay, but when he's absent and when he's not there, you tell him the trash is not going to get thrown out. That is why we cannot be genderizing role in relationship. You base those roles based on your skill set, your experiences, your aspiration, and your constraints that may allow you to do those things or not do those things. But we cannot say it's a man's job, it's a woman's job, because what if the person is not present? And what did you even do when you were a bachelor? Didn't you perform all those roles? Didn't you cook for yourself? Didn't you lay your own bed? Okay, so when it comes to us being married, what should stop you from continuing to do those things? And then what are you teaching your children when your children comes into the picture? That, oh, that is my dad's duty. Oh, that is a mom's duty. Then what happens when the other person is not there? So kudos to you, all the single parents, either mother or single daddy. Kudos to you for all you are doing, balancing those roles and trying to take care of your children. God bless you.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful. And we're getting all the encouragement from my sister Mercy and from on Sunday. Everyone is kind of giving thumbs up to all the single parents with all the work that you're doing. We appreciate you. We love you. You are amazing at what you do. Thank you. And thank you again. Of course, Dr. Femi is always so wonderful to have you in the house. I enjoyed my time with you. Thank you for sharing your awesomeness. Every time that you come on the show, it's always amazing. So, guys, if you're just joining us, Paulina, welcome. Thank you so much. My friend Billy from California, it's good to have you. It looks like you're bringing in the heat. As soon as Billy got here, everywhere started getting hot. But guys, it's so good to have spent the hour with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this again and again, and for trusting and believing in me and being part of what we're doing, because without you, this show will not go on. So guys, I want to invite you to be part of this again on Monday. We will be here same time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So Dr. Femi, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you again for just making out time to be here. Thank you. And I want to say thank you, everyone, and have yourself a wonderful rest of the day. If you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to send it to my email, Louisa at the civilityacademy.com. If there's any topics that you want to hear about that we haven't shared here yet, please send me an email, Louisa at the civilityacademy.com. If you can just slide into my inbox, that's pretty fine as well. And of course, to be part of what we'll be doing on June the 24th, I repeat, June the 24th, the National Relationship Equity Day, please show up in my inbox on June the 23rd. And I'm going to pass on the banner and let's just do it. Guys, together, we will be the change. Together, we can make a difference. Dr. Fermi, everyone is so excited that you made out time to be here. We get all the thumbs up. Guys, give us all the hearts, give us all the thumbs up. It's a civilized presence, so you want to appreciate Dr. Femi. We're also excited that he made out time, really from his busy schedule to share with us what he's doing. And Dr. Femi, congratulations with everything that you're doing everywhere. Guys, if you want to read more and learn more about what Dr. Femi does, he's on YouTube, he's on Facebook, he's on Instagram, he's on Twitter, he's on all the great places. And I think that's something that you want to listen to is his TEDx speech. That was amazing, guys. So you want to go on YouTube and type out Dr. Femi. You would be able to find his TEDx speech right there on YouTube. I think you want to listen to that. And if you want to work with him, amazing. He is happy to work with you. So if you're struggling with anything and you want us to talk about it, please let us know. Send me an inbox, and it could be anonymous. That's fine. And we'll be happy to bring it on the show. So, Dr. Femi, I have to be civil and let you go so that you can come back another time.
Thank you so much, Louisa, for having me. I mean, I had a great and wonderful time. Thank you for those questions and having this awesome dialogue during this time, talking about relationship equity and the pandemic situation that we are experiencing all over the world as well. Thank you for all you do for us and for everyone. We need your voice. We need people like you to be civil and to do the right thing, and to encourage every one of us to be civil as well. So, and God bless everyone that tuned in today with your comments and with your time as well. God bless you.
Bless you too. Thank you. So, guys, it's time to say goodbye. I hate to let you go, but I just have to today, so that I'll be back here again on Monday, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, for another great topic. Look out on my page to see who's coming and bring your comments. Thank you for your encouragement, for everything that you do. Thank you, Mercy. It's good to have you here. Thank you, Sister Dulcie. Those of you who are just joining us, I don't want to say you're late to the party, but you will have access to the video on my page. So please share this video on your page. If it's blessed you, it's going to bless some other people. And do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Right now, we're live on YouTube. Louisa Archizo, subscribe to our YouTube channel for those who are not part of Facebook, and just be part of our YouTube channel. We have tons of videos, hundreds of videos on YouTube, great contents that you can learn from. So thank you, and have yourself a wonderful rest of the day and weekend. Bye for now. Thank you.